Subnautica, a game that has been growing in popularity ever since its first release on early access in the beta back in 2013. This game was a long time in the making for Unknown Worlds. This game is about you being the only survivor of the crash of the Aurora, and you are trapped on an alien world with lots of different alien life. And your objective is to get off of this planet, which is called 4546b, full of different biomes, different regions, and lots of places to explore that pretty much no other game out there in the world can ever offer. However, this game has a lot more to offer than just the thrill of exploring an alien world that is unlike anything else that we have seen in the known universe. This game also has two floating islands, well, one floating island. It also features the wreck of the Aurora, the ship that you came to 4546b on. And on this alien world is different possibilities with different life that thrive in the different regions of this alien world. There are giant colossal reefbacks floating above, roaring out. Deep reefs, where lots of predatory life thrives. There are underwater bugs that migrate across the seabed in large herds. Long, sleek, and terrifying predatory leviathans stalking near the Aurora. There are mushroom forests with different life. Bulbous regions, cave mushrooms, where cave snakes thrive. The deep reef, where the crab squids lurk in the dark depths of the deep reefs. There's the Lost River, of where many of the ugly predatory life thrives, the Tree of Life, and the Lava region, where the king stalks its home, ready to kill anyone that trespasses into its lair. But what if I told you that this world is actually based off of a real ocean exoplanet? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the real-life Subnautica planet, the super-Earth Gliese 1214b, aka the Water World, not to be confused with the movie Waterworld. This super-Earth was inspired for the game Subnautica. This super-Earth is located 48 light-years away from us in the constellation of Ophiucus. 6 to 7 times the mass and size of Earth. Enormous, the size of Neptune. An entire day on this water world lasts 38 hours compared to the typical 24 hours here on Earth. It's 10,613 miles in diameter, making it way larger than the Earth and making the Earth look like a tiny little marble. But due to its extreme proximity to its parent star, Gliese 1214b's temperatures are at a scorching 248 to 539 degrees Fahrenheit, or 120 to 282 degrees Celsius. So if you were to step onto this water world's oceans, it would boil your skin. And this is the sound that this water world makes. In this special documentary, which is the first of its kind on the channel, we are going to be exploring all the regions of this phenomenal game on this planet. And we're going to be visiting all of the different regions and get to see and meet all the different forms of life that thrive on this strange alien world. We will be meeting all of the colossal leviathans, such as the reefbacks, the deep, dark depths below the floating island, the deep reef, the sea treaders, we will be especially meeting the apex predator of Subnautica, the Reaper Leviathan. We will also be visiting the mushroom forest, the bulb zone, the cave mushroom place, the deep reef, where we will meet the crab squids, the lost river, the tree of life, and of course, the volcanic area, and we'll be meeting the sea dragon. So sit back, relax, get all of your snacks and your drinks, but if you're afraid of the ocean, do not watch this. But anyway, let us explore Subnautica, aka Gliese 1214b. But before this documentary can get started, I would like to give a special shout out to Twitch streamer Triforce Triumph, who has been playing Subnautica since its very beginning. So Triforce Triumph, if you're watching this, shout out to you, and this video is dedicated all for you. Now, without further ado, and again, shout out to Triforce Triumph, let's dive into the deep waters of Gliese 1214b. First, we will be exploring the creepvine zone, of where the dominant predators of that region, the stalkers, stalk, which hence is their name. And we are going to be using our sea moth, Samantha. Welcome to the creepvine zone. This is where the stalkers call home, as well as all the other forms of life that thrive in this small area of the safe shallows. It's taken a while for it to load in because I have so much in here that it's having a hard time keeping up with it. But here they are, the stalkers, the top predators of the creepvine zone. When you have a sea moth that's fully upgraded, and when stalkers get too close, give them a warning shock to let them know to back off. And that's what you do with stalkers when they get too close. You tell them to back off, because otherwise you'll have to fight your way out. And there they are, the colossal reefbacks, the whales of Subnautica. They get their name reefbacks because, well, it's self-explanatory. These guys have pits on the front of their bodies that help them feel the water around them and to pick up vibrations. And they have thrust of propulsions in the back of their bodies that help them move through the water. They are the biggest leviathans, herbivorous leviathans, in the game, and on Gliese 1214b. But down below them, where tons of wreckage is lying around, there are these smaller predators, the biters as I like to call them, and then there are these spasmodic weirdo bullies, the sand sharks. They bury themselves beneath the sand, camouflaging themselves, and then when something comes by, they spring up from the sand and snatch whatever they're after. But as you can see, this one's being a bit of a weirdo. But they do go into the sand. Really, they do. These are the gasopods. They are herbivorous alien cousins of hippos and manatees. And let me show you what happens when you get too close. Well, It's self-explanatory, as you can see. But now let's see what happens when we give him a shock. Hardly anything. And yes, that is the sounds that they make. And yes, there are other creepvine zones around the safe shallows, which are perfect for not only the stalkers, but also the smaller fish that thrive here. And they also have their neighbors, the sand sharks, which they hardly ever meet, but when they do, things get very nasty. Now, we are about to descend into the realm of the cave snakes. Welcome to the Jelly Shroom Caves, and these are the creatures that stalk this little cave system. These are the cave snakes. They hide inside the mushrooms, wait for wandering fish to come by, and then, when the time is right, they slither out, snatch their prey, and swallow it. There is a lot of them here. There's around 30 to around 45 cave snakes that thrive in this cave system. Or even smaller than that. No one has ever counted. But this is what they do. These guys love it here. This is their home. And there are regions in the oceans here on Earth that are kind of similar, but are nothing like the cave snakes. Except we do have squid, but the squid are nothing like these guys. These guys don't mess around. And this cave cave system is way more than you think. But again, giving them a little shock to let them know that now's not the time to fight me. This is one of the most underrated areas of Subnautica, because this is where another part of the story can be found. But now, we must leave and head for the next zone of Subnautica, the Deep Reef. But first, let us pay a visit to the floating island. We seem to have a very large visitor that thrives in this region. This is the Ghost Leviathan. Sleek, bioluminescent, and ghostly, the Ghost Leviathan gets its name, which is very obvious. This sleek, serpentine monster is one of the most feared predators in these Subnautica waters. These guys are huge. But apparently they don't like sea moths. But this one here doesn't seem to care. He's just trying to get some food. But he's not gonna get us. Welcome to the floating island. Which, since there's parts of the story that are located here, I'm calling this the Gliese floating island. This island is famous in the game because of the many parts of the story that can be found on this strange bit of land, where of course life flourishes. This island is lush with greenery. It is paradise. This is a tropical paradise on Gliese 1214b. A lush forest. With a small deep pool in the middle. Which you can get stuck in here sometimes. That's all part of the fun. And then there is this view of the aurora. But now climbing up to the top of these mountains, we get the best view ever, one of the best views ever of the ocean that you are trying to survive in. These are abandoned habitats, of which those certain people that you learn about throughout the game have left behind. Now, how about that for a view? Look at this. Is this not one of the most beautiful things you've ever seen? I'm doing this on my Xbox, but I'm recording it via my phone's camera. So now, it is time for us to leave this island and to move on to the next region that is deep below this floating island. These are what's keeping the island afloat. These are colossal ancient floaters. But however, in the deep dark depths below the island is a completely different world within this one. We are about to enter the deep, grand reef, where certain predatory life forms flourish in the darkness. Welcome to the deep Grand Reef. And down here, the apex predators of this region flourish here. And you can find them via the sound that it makes. Meet the crab squid. That organ above its head is actually its stomach. But apparently they do not like light. Light is one thing that they, like all other crustaceans, can't stand. And these gel rays share this area with the crab squids. These are one of the most recognizable predators of these Subnautica waters. The sounds they make are what makes them famous. They can swim around and crawl with their legs, and their two little arms help them scoop up their prey and pull it into their mouths. Which you never thought I would get this close to a crab squid, but here in Creative, anything is possible. And now, a warper has just arrived. The sounds they make are nothing short of awesome. They love this area. They thrive here. And this is one of their favorite places. Well, actually, their favorite place to lurk and thrive in the waters of Gliese 1214b. Next up, we are visiting the bulb bush zone, where we'll meet the electrifying cousins of the modern-day electric eel. But before we head to the bulb zone, we are about to meet the top and most dominant predator in the waters of Subnautica. We are heading to the stern of the Aurora, where a colossal monster thrives in this dark region. Meet the Reaper Leviathan, the top predator of these Subnautica waters. That sound is what made the Reaper terrifying when lots of people first met this colossal monster. "50 meters long. Longer than multiple aircraft carriers, but easily capable of taking down a small yacht. Its four mandibles are used essentially like its arms. It grabs onto its prey and then pulls it in, where it gets eaten up and crushed by its super powerful jaws. But the scariest time to be out here is at night, because this is where the Reaper thrives. We're now back behind the Aurora, and this is where one of the 4 to 5 Reaper Leviathans stalk these waters. Now, when you hear that sound, that means that it sees you and it's looking for you. So best to avoid this thing at all times. Unless you're ballsy enough to get up close and personal with one of these giants. And yes, monsters like these could be living in the Mariana Trench here on Earth. But fortunately for the Reefbacks, the Reapers have no beef with them, and they leave them be and are chill. But when you are in the Reaper's environment, you are at its mercy. This colossal monster many people have had nightmares when they first encounter this loud, colossal monster. We are now inside my Cyclops, which I call the Mother Mara. This is what I've done to my Cyclops. I've decked it out to be more homey. I have an aquarium. Actually, I have 2 aquariums. I have ion power cells. And these are the upgrades that I have for this monster. But first, let's get some rest, because we are about to visit the mushroom forest and the bulb zone. And we are gonna go inside the Aurora. But we are going in dark. So without further ado, let's get going. And off we go. Along with our sonar going, we are now heading to the mushroom forest, where the gel rays and another group of predatory life forms thrive. We have just arrived at the mushroom forest, and we are now about to go down and meet the life forms that thrive in this region.
All systems online.
Welcome to the mushroom forest, aka the Mushroom Kingdom. And these are the gel rays. There might be creatures like these lurking in the oceans here on Earth. But out there on Gliese 1214b, life could be possible. And this is one of the many top predators of the mushroom kingdom. These are the bone sharks. Hard, bony armor plating on their bodies gives them the frightening appearance. And they'll feed on just about anything that the ocean leaves for them. Now heading down here, we are heading into the bulb bush zone. These shockers are ampules. These are the alien cousins of the electric eel of the Amazon here on Earth. These guys love it here. This is where they thrive. The bulb bush zone is where life can flourish in this bioluminescent place on Gliese 1214b. Life here is plentiful when it comes to research. Except that we haven't sent anything to Gliese 1214b to confirm this. So for now, we have Subnautica to let our imaginations run wild on what could be living on this water world. While floating above, the reefbacks swim over and roar out. But nearby is a reaper. There's one reaper that stalks the front of the aurora. And with the help of our big submarine, the Mother Mara, we are about to meet this colossal predatory monster. Now, let us go and meet the Reaper Leviathan of the front of the aurora. This predatory colossus stalks this area of Gliese 1214b. And there he is, 50 meters in length, and with a size that's easily capable of taking down a small yacht. Just like the Kraken of mythical fisherman's lore. But clearly he doesn't like us. But in the end, he is not going to have us for breakfast. This beacon distracts these colossal monsters, as well as other predatory life that thrives in these areas of Gliese 1214b. What you're seeing there is how the Reaper kills its prey. Next, we are about to head down into the deep dark, as Jacksepticeye calls it, because we are about to enter the dark region of Gliese 1214b. We are going to head to the Lost River. But before we do that, let us visit the island of where the gun is now down. For those who are seeing this game for the first time, this big gun is the key to the story of this game. This island is a crucial part of the story. But now, heading down into the dark depths of this island. And yes, a Reaper stalks this part of Gliese 1214b. And there he is. Right down there. There he is. This is his domain. And anyone that comes down here pays the price. But today, at least in this area, we are going to be heading down to meet the other deep sea monsters that thrive on this planet in the dark depths of Gliese 1214b. But apparently the Ambials don't really like the Cyclops too much. A bit of lag there from the game, but that's alright. It's perfectly natural for this game. We are now arriving at the front of the Aurora because we are going to go inside the Aurora. As soon as I can get through it here. And here we are. Here we are. Yeah, this is pretty obvious. Cave crawlers love it here. They thrive here. In this crumbling wreckage of the ship that you came to Gliese 1214b, aka 4546b, aboard. We are now inside the Aurora. And we are about to explore all of this part of this ship that you came to Gliese 1214b aboard. This is where all the radiation came from. Now this is going to lead to an area of the aurora that has more information on the whole story of how you got to Gliese 1214b. And it is right through here. It is all in here. Most of it, anyway. So that was the aurora. And now we are going to now be heading to the Lost River. Here we go. We are now about to head down into the deep dark, as Jacksepticeye calls it, to move on and head to the Lost River. As I slowly and carefully thread the needle through this area. And yes, we will be meeting the crab squids briefly on our way through. Though it doesn't seem like they're here at the moment. But they're here. Because they were here last time. There's the lost habitat. The sounds they make are easily recognizable. Because these guys were featured in the cinematic trailer for this game. Down here is where we need to go. Welcome to the Lost River, a region of Gliese 1214b, where you head down to later on throughout your playthrough of this phenomenal game. These are ghost rays. Basically, the alien cousins of manta rays and all stingrays here on Earth. And right over here is the skeletal remains of a colossal predator that has believed to have stalked these waters millions and millions of years ago. Although nobody's for sure what this monster once looked like when it was alive, but people can only speculate that this creature was enormous. Which there's no doubt about it, that whatever this thing is, must have been the top predator of the Lost River. We are now heading into the main region of the Lost River, which this is where a colossal fossilized monster can be found. And there he is. This absolute colossus of a creature lived here millions and millions and millions of years ago. How it got here is still a mystery, and according to the research, this is only a third of this monster. And that is a juvenile ghost leviathan. Ghost leviathans stay in this area when they are juveniles, but as they get older, and as they get bigger and bigger and bigger, they head out into the open ocean where they spend the rest of their lives. And clearly, this one doesn't like our presence here too much. But he's gonna have to put up with us. Because whether he likes us or not, he's gonna have to accept us as visitors in its domain, because we are here for the name of science in Subnautica, and on board this colossal submarine, and on the planet Gliese 1214b. It can be hard to navigate through here because you feel like you've gone into several places already, but really, you haven't. Now we are about to take our sea moth to the research lab, which is over here.
All systems online.
So while that colossal monster back there is busy, over here, we are heading to an area which is crucial in the story. This is the skeleton of a sea dragon. It was a pregnant mother that smashed its head into something huge, which caused its death. And the thing that it slammed into is right over here. It's this research lab. This is what this sea dragon slammed into because its eggs got stolen. This is what that sea dragon slammed into. And inside here is another skeletal remain of a colossal predator that's sort of related to the famous Goldilocks, a giant armored fish left here. And this is where the warpers were built. These weird biomechanical beings now stalk the waters of Subnautica, taking care of the remaining infected individuals that are still lurking around while sick. This is basically like Corona, but alien, and with a vaccine that comes in the form of an enzyme, which I'll go on about later. But now we are about to head down to a region of where the king thrives. We are now heading to the lava zone. As we wake up from our little nap aboard the Cyclops, we are about to head into the place where we'll meet this guy, the king of the lava zone. Oh. Oops. Okay, here we go. Now we're free. We are now heading to the active lava zone, the deepest and darkest part of Subnautica. Okay, so that's the other way out. This is actually a bit tedious, but I can do this. I've done this lots of times. Ow. But maneuvering something like this through tight quarters like this is not easy. And I know that's what she said, but in all seriousness, this game presents challenges for those who want to know more about the story, and who want to see this story to the end. But at times, the fish here can be dumb, because they just swim into you and die. Because that's all that they want to do, is just die, die, die. But at least fish here on Earth in real life aren't like this. But they can be sometimes. But that's just part of this game's design. To not only scare the shit out of some people, but to also make them laugh. Now, crossing through here, where the sea dragon skeleton lies, is where we are now heading to next, the active lava zone. Rest in peace to that sea dragon mother that died. Rest in peace to her. This is the tree of life. And inside that tree is a ghost leviathan egg. And swimming all around the tree of life are these ghost rays. Tens of them swim around here. They're basically the guardians of the tree of life. But our visit to the tree of life is short, because we are now about to cross into the active lava zone. And yes, that is the sounds that they make. And with the power of sonar, we are able to navigate through here with hardly any issue, along with the occasional lag from the game, which is totally fine. Welcome to the lava zone, the deepest part of 4546B, and quite frankly, the most dangerous place in the game, because of a certain monster that stalks this cave system. Not as much of a cave system, but more like a kingdom. These are the lava lizards, which are marine alien relatives of crocodiles that thrive in this area, of which, as you just heard, a colossal monster reigns supreme here. And we are about to meet him. These are crimson rays, which are basically like the manta rays, but that spend the majority of their lives down here. Now swimming around here somewhere is the king of this domain. prepare to meet the biggest predator that is unfortunately few in numbers, but still thrives down here very, very well. And there he is. Meet the sea dragon. He is the king of his domain. And all these other life forms coexist with this colossal predator. And there he is. That's what he does. One smack of his hand can kill you if you're not careful. He's loud, but he's making it clear that this is his home and that he is not to be trifled with. Sadly, there's only 2 to 3 of these monsters that are living on Gliese 1214b. But we are now in the northern and equatorial region of Gliese 1214b. And up here, the sea dragon is the king of this domain. And this guy is nothing short of badass and just awesome. He is the king of his domain, and he is proud of it, as you can see. He's just swimming around, just making sure that there are no intruders that are here to take his food from him. Now, where we are about to head into now is where another research lab is hidden inside this great rocky lava castle. Which is this, which I'm going to call the Castle Laboratory. This is one of the portals. And this is where important pieces of information can be found. That's an example of what happens when you come down here.
Power blueprints from alien data. Blueprints stored to data bank.
Now, the area that we are about to head to next is where a true new part of the game will open up. And thanks to some certain enzymes, a new generation of giants which now thrive in the waters of Gliese 1214b. And we are about to head there to visit her. As we wake up from yet another nap, we are about to head down into the final area of the active lava zone. And down there we will meet someone that unfortunately is already too late. But the rest will explain to itself once we get there. If all these fish would just get out of the way. But they can't, so never mind them. This is the domain of the sea dragon. This is its home. And this is its kingdom. That over there is the skeleton of a Reaper Leviathan that was brought down here by the sea dragon. Right there. And especially thanks to the sonar that we can see what's around us. And down there is what's going to bring us to the next area of the lava zone. Now this takes precision. As we keep hitting things as we're descending here. This is the deepest area that you can explore, where there is things that are there to offer you with endless possibilities. And this is also where a sea dragon lurks in its other domain. This is the final area of the game where the rest of the story unfolds. A grand welcome from the lights. And back up here is where the majority of the story unfolds. This is where the rest can be told. The rest of the story unfolds inside this place. But now, cue the sad music. Because this is where she is right now. Because she doesn't have much left. And she is right down there. Here we go. And there she is. This is the Sea Emperor that was kept in here for pretty much the rest of her life. She is 1,600 years old, and she is the one that talks to you as you progress throughout the game. And here, she is dying because she did everything she could to get her babies ready, of which her babies can be found throughout the rest of the area. And this is where she has her final moments. And these here are the little enzymes called enzyme 42 that has cured the Carrot disease in this part of the game. And through here is where the babies come out, and then they spread out and start thriving in the northern region of Gliese 1214b. Epilepsy warning, by the way. We are now below the island with the gun. And this is where the babies start to spit out this enzyme and they grow up. But now it is time for us to head home, because this has been the tour and the documentary of Gliese 1214b, aka 4546b. But before we head back to the Cyclops and get out of here, let us have a moment of silence as we pray that this mother's babies will make it for as long as she has. And as we have ascended from the active lava zone, we are greeted by another juvenile ghost leviathan. But he's not much of a problem to us. But before we leave the planet, we are going to be visiting a zone of which not a lot of people that play this game know about. They do, but they never visited before. Or that they just don't want to. They know about it, but they just don't want to. And here's that research laboratory that we were at earlier. What the hell? Oh, it was that little rock there that we got stuck on. Oops. And with our sonar, we are able to navigate through here and find our way out. As we make our way back through the lava zone, we get another chance to see this juvenile ghost leviathan that lurks here. it is time for us to get out of here and visit the Dead Zone, where 3 large, colossal monsters lurking. Now we are out of here. We are out of here. And greeting us are the sea treaders. This is the last area that we will be exploring on our journey across Gliese 1214b. We are now about to enter the Dead Zone. Is all the way down here. Now, as I've said many times before in the beginning, if you're afraid of the ocean, do not watch this. So, look away while you can, because we are about to enter the Dead Zone. We are now entering the Dead Zone. Far from...
Entering ecological dead zone. Adding report to databank.
Geological scans of this area show a steep decline in all directions. This data is consistent with the theory that the aurora crashed on the edge of a 2 kilometer by 2 kilometer volcanic crater. It has likely been millennia since an eruption reached the surface, encouraging the ecosystem within the crater to flourish. The ecology of the trench surrounding the crater supports only 2 kinds of life, microscopic and Leviathan class. Exploration is ill-advised. But we are here to meet the ghost Leviathans, adult ghost Leviathans. And this is one of them. But 2 more should appear. So now, let us go down deeper to meet all 3 of the adult ghost Leviathans that thrive here in the Dead Zone. And again, there's the first one, but 2 more should come out. There's normally 3 of them that spawn here. So let's go down here and see if 2 more appear. Oh, Jesus. Hi. You're cool looking, though. God, you are terrifying. Can you move your big-ass head? Thank you. And here he comes. But again, if you don't like the ocean, and you hate the deep, dark depths, don't watch this. But thankfully, we're in creative mode, so these guys can't hurt us. But now, you can see of why they're called ghost leviathans. Because they come out of the darkness, like ghosts. And this is how the ghost leviathans get their name. Now I'm just keeping my eyes out for ghostly shapes coming out of the darkness. Am I scared of this? No. Why? Because I've done this lots of times. So, I'm not scared. But now, let us go down even deeper and deeper and deeper to get all 3 of the ghost leviathans to show up. And now, let's move away from that area and hopefully get all 3 of them to appear out of the darkness. So far, it seems like they've given up. Although as we head back, they may show up again. Oh, Jesus, there's one of them. But this is only the first one. I guess that other one left. Now that is how they get their name, Ghost Leviathans. Because they come out of the darkness, like ghosts. But now this one's just curious. So he's now just checking us out. Because he's never seen us before. And there's an... Oh wait, never mind, he's the same one. I keep... Hey, here's the other one. Okay, he's now just... Well, now they're just checking me out. So now, let's exit the dead zone and get off this planet. Because this documentary is about to wrap up. So now, let us exit the dead zone and head on back. As we now climb up this wall, and as we ascend from the dead zone, we are greeted by a bone shark. But the ghost leviathans go back down into the darkness. And now it is our time to head home to Earth. One last thing before we go. This is one of the baby sea emperors that is now all grown up, which is now swimming freely. He is now going to carry on the legacy of his mom, which is now dying in the research laboratory. He will carry on for the next generation. We have just arrived home, back at our base. And now we are about to put We are now about to put our little seamoth here away.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
This is the platform which the rocket that will be on it will take us home to Earth. And that right there is Gliese 1214A. And that there is Gliese 1214C. And that right there is Gliese 1214B's parent star. Of which is a dim type M4.5 red dwarf star called GJ 1214. These are the main boosters. And that is an eclipse. Yeah, this thing is massive. I know that's what she said, but in all seriousness, this is the rocket that's going to be getting us home. And I got something very special planned for this rocket. And now for the last piece, the cockpit. And
Neptune 1 rocket online.
the name of the name of this rocket is the Triumphant Tri, which was supposed to be Triumphant Triforce, but this is the name of the rocket that's going to get us off of this planet. And this is a shout out to Triumphforce Triumph, who made this possible. If you're watching this, this would not have been possible if it wasn't for you and your love for Subnautica. And when Subnautica Below Zero comes out for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, along with the Xbox Series X and the PS5, I will be doing the exact same thing. But now, let's get ready to go home. And this is the last look that we'll have of the Aurora. And of our pod in the islands. Okay, so now let's activate all this.
Auxiliary power unit online. Communications systems array active. Pressurizing hydraulics.
And here we are.
Primary computer systems active. Life support systems online. All systems are go for lift off. capsule ready.
This is the end of the documentary on Gliese 1214b, aka 4546b, aka the Water
Ready to launch on
World.
your command, Captain. Launch in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Once again,
1.
shout out to Triforce Triumph for making this documentary possible.
Time capsule jettisoned. Caution, approaching orbital debris field.
Uh-oh.
Orbital debris field clear. Performing gravity turn maneuver.
This is Gliese 1214b, aka 4546b.
Destination coordinates. Nearest interstellar phase 8. Engaging ion boosters in 3, 2, 1.
What is a wave without the ocean? A beginning without an end. They are different, but they go together. Now you go among the stars, and I fall among the sun. We are different, but we go together.
Now, this documentary was meant to teach those who never knew about the game about it, unraveling the secrets, meeting all the different life forms that thrive in the oceans of Gliese 1214b. From the bizarre to the colossal. From the deep dark down deep dark to the grand reef. From the sea treader's path to the king and apex predator of the oceans of Gliese 1214b, the Reaper Leviathan. From the Mushroom Kingdom to the Bald Bush Zone. From the mushrooms to the deep reef where the crab squids lurk in the darkness. From the Lost River to the Tree of Life. And from the Lava Zone to the King, the Sea Dragon Leviathan. This documentary has been a success in recording, and all this would not have been possible without the support of Triforce Triumph. Shout out to you for making this documentary possible, and thank you for watching this documentary. But once again, this documentary would not have been possible without the support of Twitch streamer Triforce Triumph. Thank you for making this possible, and I hope that y'all have learned a thing or two about the real-life Subnautica planet Gliese 1214b, and I will see you all in Subnautica Below Zero.